So we're going to take a few minutes and you're going to guide your own meditation. So we're going to take 4 or 5 minutes. I will just give the ending signal. And you're going to do what you think is best for you in this moment in order to settle down. Have full confidence in yourself that what you are doing is the right thing. Okay, thank you. You're learning to do it without me. You're learning to practice, to settle, to be with yourself without me. And this is so crucial, of course, after this course where you don't always have my voice to guide you. And for you to just to ask the question, what do I need right now and how do I need to sit or meditate? And when you ask the question, you will start to look there. And maybe you will try different things and maybe you will get it wrong a few times. It won't help you calm down or it will make you more agitated. But you are learning about how your own body and mind work and what you need. If you don't try at all, you won't learn how to settle and rest where you are. Let's take a moment to embody a position or posture that reflects the way that you want to continue your practice after this course. So whatever that may be, maybe it's something more given, more giving, more open. Maybe it's something more disciplined and straight. Maybe it's more of an expansive quality in your body that you want to show me or just do for yourself right now. How you want to relate to your practice after these 10 days. And I really encourage you to use the arms, to use the body, the entire body, to use the chest, to use even the face. And to breathe, to take 3 deep breaths in this posture, however it is, and to feel what this posture feels like for you. This is your practice, and you are the only person who is going to take care of it and who's going to do it. Let's have a quick check-in in the chat. How are you at the moment? How is the practice at the moment? You can write maybe 3 adjectives that capture some impressions or feelings or how you're relating to the practice at the moment. At ease, awareness, and understanding. Wow, that's great. And it's also okay if it's not so great, if you are a little bit struggling, you can share it in the chat. 3 words. Enjoying noticing how I feel when you challenge us to go lighter, to take it easy, change my feelings about. Interesting. Sometimes we make it so serious, this whole meditation. What else? 3 words. Quick check-in. You don't need to think so deeply. Feel what it's been for you and write what comes to mind. Gabriel, Vinod, Kathleen, do you guys want to write anything? You don't need to think too much about it. Kathleen. I know, Kathleen, you wrote. Curious, present, and sitting. Compared to day zero, it's now part of my daily routine, calmer, no longer anxious about 1 hour commitment twice a day. Good. Yes. Going lighter, taking it easy. This is really crucial for making it sustainable. So sometimes we are so serious and tense about this discipline and this commitment, and it's a really good thing to have this seriousness or this discipline also. But to also know that within that discipline, we can lighten up, we can take it easy, we can even be a bit playful and experimental. And I like this phrase, replacing ambition with curiosity. Gabriel was saying he's curious. That's great. We are curious to find out what's here. It's not about achieving nothing. And maybe 2 hours a day would have been or seemed like a lot before you started this course. And just doing it every day and just creating the space and time. Like now, maybe it's still a little bit challenging, but it's a lot easier. So there's some momentum now in the practice, and we're hoping to continue this momentum. And we don't have to sit for 2 hours a day. We don't have to meditate 2 hours strict formally every day if you feel that's not realistic for you. You can do 30 minutes. You can do 1 hour. Um, it's up to you how you fit it into your routine, into your schedule. I do recommend a kind of minimum of 20, 30 minutes. It takes some time, 15 minutes for the mind to kind of settle down. I will send also some shorter meditations in the Monday email. And to know that it doesn't have to be perfect. Like you're going to sit down 20, 30 minutes, 1 hour, and you're going to kind of take what you get. And it's going to be a research. It's going to be a place where you're curious and actually learning how to meditate. A big part of practicing meditation over time is actually learning how to meditate. And I also still keep learning how to meditate. It's not that you learn it and then you just do it. It's the actual act of doing it which changes over time, and you learn. And also because you're always different, you're going to be different every day, you're going to be different every year, and through that your practice is changing with time. And so if you ask the question, how do I practice well, there will continue to be this curiosity. Okay, let's open up. Welcome any sharing, any questions. I ask you to make it somewhat concise and not name too many unrelated details. I may cut you off if you do. Be not as sharing. It helped to not set any expectation and not to compare with the previous meditation. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the final Q&A. This is the opportunity to ask anything that that's still left unsaid, that's still you're not sure whether to ask it, you think it's stupid. Just ask. Yes, Gabriel.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for receiving me today. I didn't have the chance to join yesterday's session, but turns out that yesterday I have maybe not comparing, but just to share one experience and to know maybe if there is an advice for the future or like to keep in mind for the next or the coming time. Um, I had like a really good morning session. I was ready to to meditate, and then while in the process of like once again coming back and settle down, I have like a short memories of let's say my boss. A strong memory just came up, and it really disturbed me a lot. So turns out that the memory I couldn't like just let it go. So it was repetitive all the time. Um, and unfortunately, yes, I feel that modify a lot my meditation the whole day. And unfortunately, when I have the chance also to interact with this person, it's a little bit difficult to try to have to be in balance. So then I was wondering, like I can imagine, like in meditation, when I am sit, I am practicing, and I realize that there are many things that I'm doing maybe better, but out of meditation I still feel it's a little bit difficult, like to understand, well, this is just a memory, or like I don't really feel comfortable with this way of communication with this person. So in daily life it's sometimes a little bit more tricky to be
Absolutely.
aware. Yeah, so my question out of details is like let's say I am working or I am in my daily routine. Is there any advice you have, or like to come back to the breathing? But many times it's difficult to just stop for a moment during a meeting or something. So yeah, I don't know if it's first like a normal, and second if I mean through your experience, is
Yes,
there?
yes.
Mm,
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Gabriel, for sharing. And absolutely. So this is we of course we're not expecting to master it in 10 days. And the life is where it's more challenging to integrate because we have different priorities in life and different very strong habits in life of rushing, of behaving in a certain way in the meeting, of behaving in relationship. Of course, this is a big one. Um, and we are making small progress. So it's small steps, step by step, step by step, step by step. And over time, it shifts the way your character, your personality is going. And we don't need to solve it today. So little things, maybe. So this thing I sent a video last night about this, to kind of take these little pauses throughout the day, and they can be barely noticeable even to someone else. But actually, I do this all the time during this call. When I listen to you, I'm pausing, I'm resting within my body. And of course, listening, so not fully concentrating on my breathing and blocking everything out, with a little bit awareness of the body while you are speaking, or even while I'm speaking. Maybe there's a few seconds break where just with the body and allowing what else that wants to be said to come next. And it creates a little bit more ease, a little bit more less. I'm trying to control and create some outcome with my words, which creates so much tension in the body mind. But just to speak what is more true here. And so awareness of the body. So whether it's your breath, whether it's sensations, posture, the feeling of your body, and pauses, pauses, whatever activity you're doing, you're working alone, you can take a pause between writing this email and jumping to the Excel spreadsheet. You can take a little pause, 3-second pause between those two things. You can take a pause by getting up to drink some water and making that walk mindful. You can, you have many time during the day where you are not busy with something actually, where you are in transition, where you are just doing something ordinary, where you don't need so much, no, don't need to think so much. So you can be more present with the body. You're making yourself a coffee in the morning. You're aware of the touch, the sensation, the movement of the body. Um, and these are just little ways. And over time, this changes the habit with how you are attending throughout your life. The way we use our attention in our life dictates the state of our body and mind. So we have certain habits of using our attention. If we are used to just thinking about the work a lot, our attention is in our thinking. So we rewire the habit to be a little bit more with the body. Doesn't mean we stop thinking about work, but just to balance it, to remember that you have a body. It's easy to forget, throughout the day, that there is actually an experience of the body. And sometimes we'll be like this. So sometimes we'll be like this. There will be some meditations and you are thinking about something. There is anxiety, there's stress, and there's feels like it's a very sticky state. Then you're entangled in it and you can't seem to step away from it. And actually part of the process is accepting something you cannot solve in the moment just through awareness. And then just seeing that, okay, this is there. There's tension, there's worry, there's anxiety, there's not liking it. But I accept that I don't like it. It's okay that I don't like it. It's okay that I don't have perfect meditation skills right now. I trust over time I learn.
Yeah, thanks for the explanation. Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned it, it's fun that since the beginning of the course, I was also maybe on purpose somehow, but there were some moments like having conversation, particularly with friends, when I feel more like, oh, what am I doing here? Or it's not even that word happening. It's just like to be to open my eyes and to see like, oh, it's here. So it's I don't know, since practicing a little bit, it's kind of spreading throughout the day, but
Yeah,
little by little, as you mentioned.
mhm,
My surprise was that maybe the last week was up and down a little bit, but there was just this moment of tension. While maybe some months ago, tension was all the time, was kind of the rule.
yes,
So yeah, it makes me wanna know, like as you mentioned, practice.
yes,
Okay.
right. Yes, exactly this. So it's from moving a continuous state of being tense to noticing tension coming and going.
Mm,
Um, and it's not about continuous state of zero tension. Tension
mm,
is the part of life. And one little tip that really helps me also is to every time you remember have this wake up moment to, oh, what I'm doing to wake up to my body, smile. Just smile a little bit. Doesn't even have to be visible from the outside, that smile, but to rewire it to be a moment of, oh, I'm happy that I have a moment of awareness rather than, oh my God, I'm unhappy and annoyed that I forgot what I was doing for 1 hour and I was super unconscious. No, it's creating a little bit. Okay, great.
yes.
I caught myself one moment.
Okay, I'm going to yeah, a smile. That's a good idea. Good tag label. Okay.
Vinod has a comment in the chat. As far as labeling is considered, when a negative thought about a hypothetical future event comes to mind, I wonder how should I label it as a negative thought or just label it as imagination. I wonder if I label it negative thought, I've already judged it, the thought, and might put a little effort to push it away. Do you have any advice? I wouldn't put it as negative thought. I would put it as there's different ways you can notice it, but it is also good to notice firstly just the thought itself and what what is the thing about it? Is it like so you can label thinking or you can label imagination. So you see some kind of scene in your head. So maybe it's more visual, like oh, imagining. You see a picture, or it's maybe more. You can just label as a worry or worrying. I wouldn't put negative thought together, but you can also notice and label if it feels unpleasant in the body. Just to notice, like, oh, it's unpleasant, or pleasant, or neutral in the body, or contraction in the body. So to separate out the body and mind in that thought. So usually there is some imagination or thought, and there's some body sensation coupled together, and to take the two apart and to see them individually. And usually it's the body sensation which is the unpleasant, uh, is where it feels unpleasant. Would you write about noticing, trying to notice whether you're judging the thought already as something bad and trying to push through it? Thinking is just the nature of thinking, so just labeling as thinking or imagining works well. So not to think that some thoughts are better than others. All thoughts are equal and they're just thoughts. And you all phenomena, actually in the practice of Vipassana, all phenomena are considered equal. No phenomena, no thought, no sensation is better than any other sensation. But there is of course the nature of it, of the sensation or thought being more pleasant or unpleasant. But even that, pleasant or unpleasant, it's just the sensation, just the, we call it Vedana, the feeling tone of experience. It's just this, whatever it is in the moment. Nothing is better than anything. What else there? Kathleen, would you like to share anything? You're on mute. I muted you earlier.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I was just typing in the chat, and I think one thing I've been thinking about is continuing on day 11. And I do very much feel like I've gotten a lot of insight from the guided. I'll be doing my own work, noticing and flitting and trying not to attach to it. But it's those little jewels, like I was telling you with the go lighter. So, and I'm sorry you said at the beginning, I kind of missed a few things. Do you do continuous instruction in this, or, what was your path after you I've meditated for a lot of years, but new to Vipassana. So do you, continue on with guided? Would you just suggest that we take the fundamentals that we learned and kind of put those into place? I'm thinking about day 11 and like, what will I do that morning when I start my hours? So
Yes.
just your thoughts.
Yes. It is helpful to continue with both. So to have some space where you are doing it without the guidance, and to have spaces where you come back to some kind of guidance, and the teacher that you trust, a style that you feel resonant with, and then you kind of listen to maybe a few per week, 2 or 3 per week, and it's something that keeps you a little bit reminded of the principles, while also you are having the space to apply it and learn it more deeply for yourself, and stopping to like just continuously lean on and rely on the guidance, but curious how it applies for you and how you can use those principles. Um, so I would say both. Yes,
Thank you.
and it won't be perfect, and it will never be perfect. Yeah. What kind of styles were you practicing before meditation?
Just guided meditation, either just like inner work, um, a lot of like visualization in meditation and working out things like that. So just a daily easy practice, 15, 20 minutes. So this has been super eye-opening. I have just really gained some different insights. And I think like everybody on the call gone through a whole roller coaster of, frustrations and all the things. But I appreciate, when you say it should be, there's going to be days that are lazy and days that are not good and days where it's just an amazing one. So just really trying to take it as it comes and accept those things. So it's been good.
Good, good. Remember that. Remember that even the 10-day more intense period was not perfect. Remember, later maybe you will think, if only I had the guidance and the full 10 days and 2 hours a day. But remember, actually, during those 10 days, it was quite difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. What's an insight that maybe you can't kind of verbalize it or boil it down so easily, but you want to share that you learned?
Sure. I think this morning's, I definitely had a very enlightening moment that brought a lot of emotion. I think just you were talking about the past is the past, the future is the future. All we have is now, which certainly felt really big, I think, in a different way to think about your approach to life and just knowing this moment. And so it was, there was definitely a lot that came up this morning. So just still kind of working through that.
Mm. Mm. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe to say something about this, or actually maybe it could be nice to do something practical. Now is the only time you can be free. So you are sitting here right now, and there's your experience around you. And it might feel there's some things you need to do or are allowed to do, or what you should do or need to do. But notice that right now you have choice, you have open possibility. And for example, in your body right now, you might feel that you have to sit still and listen to me. Or actually you can get up. You can get up and you can move. You can leave. You can leave the call. Or you can stay. But the reason you're staying is a choice that you're making now. It's not you are forced to or constrained. It's because you want to stay, you want to learn. But you are free in the moment, and you're not free from what happened in the past. This is the past, and you can't change the future. The future will never arrive. It will just keep being the moment, and it's the only place you can work with. So it comes also the question, what do we do then? Yeah, I realize this experience through the meditation. You realize it. Okay, this is the moment. This is the moment. What do I do then? What do you do then with your life? How do you then choose to set up things? Nice question is also, what do you want? What do you want from your life? Why are you here? What makes your life worth? What brings you fulfillment and joy? And how are you setting things up? Are you setting things up in your life where you doing it because you have to or need to, or you think you need to or have to, but do you really need to do it like this? This is your opportunity, your way to, this is your playground. And of course there's certain, you can't just do whatever you want. There's rules and the nature also, um, the nature of how human relationships work and things. But for example, Gabriel and your difficult boss, no? Like, okay, the boss is difficult. You cannot change the boss. But how to shift yourself to be with that situation, to either to be with it or maybe to leave that play. I mean, I know you are also going to leave in April, right? So maybe that will change. But yes, how do we set up the life? Hillary. Other methods of meditation map stages and progress. Is progress a concept in Vipassana or is it irrelevant? Yes and no. And there is also maps in Vipassana. There's the stages of insight map, kind of progressive stages of deepening insight, which the first stage is to be able to separate body and mind, to be able to distinguish body and mind in your experience. It's like the first stage of Vipassana meditation is, okay, you are thinking and you're living and doing things, and you stop and you recognize that the experience of the body is one thing happening and the experience of the mind is the other thing happening, and the two are, that's all there is in every moment. So rather than being caught in the story, you are just recognizing thinking is thinking. It's the first step. Then you are, the second step of stages of insight is to start to see, as you start to see body more often and you start to see mind more often, you start to see how the two are just interacting and creating each other. One sensation creates a thought, one thought creates more body feelings, sensations, which creates more thoughts. A sound comes, as something you hear comes, creates some thought, some sensation. And the third state is to be able to just see that all of these phenomena change, whatever it is. So it doesn't actually matter what is the content of it, but the nature of all body and mind is that they change, that they begin, that they end. Each sensation begins and ends. Each thought begins and ends. Each phenomena is impermanent. And then it continues that there's 16. But it's not about making it and then you're finished. It's about, we keep having to come back. Every time you engage again with the story and things, you drop back down to zero. So it's basically about how quickly we can realize, how quickly you can, for a moment, realize that what's happening right now is just body and mind. So we keep starting again. And there's also maps about your level of awakening, but I don't know, I find them not so useful in terms, like what does it help me to know that? It's not knowing that or putting myself as someone who is awakened tends to just create more delusion, tends to create more ideas, tends to create more thinking I am, when actually there's just body and mind. Um, and it, how can we set it up and how we use the practice so that the most important thing is just curiosity and investigation and awareness into what's happening right now. And that is the same formula all the way through. Um, so it's not to make it and then you have to stop being aware, you have to stop being curious about your experience. No, it's like, that keeps being the question. And everything else is just outcomes. Hello, George. You're sorry for joining late. That's okay, no problem. You're copying a question in the WhatsApp, from the WhatsApp. Vipassana is about observing body and mind. This means that our mind can be busy with thoughts and all we need to do is just observe them. Yes, correct. Whenever I label thought or notice I'm thinking, it ends up stopping that train of thought. Yes, awareness, the thought doesn't survive clear awareness. Is the idea that thoughts should still flow and go ahead and we just notice as they are happening, or is it also okay if they stop as a result of being? It's okay if they stop as a result of being noticed. The higher the level of mindfulness in the moment, the less likely thoughts are to survive the awareness. So you have a thought and you notice it and it disappears. Or sometimes you have thoughts and they kind of continue, like almost like more like awareness runs in parallel of them. And it's a different also form of mindfulness. And usually it means that our awareness is after the thought. Like you have a thought and then you're like, oh, I just had a thought. But more and more we are making the awareness in real time there's no more delay between being aware of it and the occurrence of it. And it means that your labels need to get actually more quiet and more fast and less loud, because of course labeling very loud, I'm thinking is already like a lot of time after it happens. So to allow the labels to get more in real time, and when your awareness gets more acute and you start to notice in real time what's happening, you start to notice more the things earlier. So maybe a thought came and stayed here for a while, and then you notice it. It takes some time to kind of, let's say, die down again. But if you notice the thought, the moment it just gets born, it will just become a very subtle vibration for a moment. And it is there where we start to see more deeply the nature of experience, where everything is becoming very small. I'm using my video as like a graph, and things are very small vibrations. All experience of the body, all experience of the mind. Before the meditation is maybe more like loud phenomena, but as you start to notice these loud phenomena, they become quieter, and you start to see the components of experience. But then again, you go out and you go to work and you go interact with friends, and again things are loud. So it's not about just dwelling in the subtle state. It's about continuously seeing. Sometimes there's a lot of noise, sometimes little. Doesn't that mean we end up not having thoughts? So the objective of Vipassana is not to not think at all, but we end up cutting thoughts off as soon as they arise and we become aware of them. So basically we're trying not to think, at least not for very long. We're not trying not to think. This is not not the objective, but it is a side effect. It is a consequence of clear awareness. But we cannot maintain the state when we are doing things. So maybe you're able to maintain a very high level of awareness and concentration when you are in silent retreat, when you are not talking, when you have a lot of simplicity in your lifestyle, and you're really just practicing mindfulness all day, 24/7. But then you go out and you start talking again, and it destroys your concentration and awareness. And with the lower level of awareness and concentration, thoughts are more, again, they continue more and they work more. And it's okay. It's also learning about how to balance and adjust the level of awareness for our lives, for what we want to do, and to learn. So for example, when I'm teaching, when I'm talking, I'm using quite a lot of thoughts all the time to to create images in my head, to convey those images to you, to create models, to speak about those models. But it's about learning and being able to use them, but recognizing their empty nature. So in a moment, to be able to switch it off and to recognize, oh, this is just thinking. But then you can again engage with it. You look a little bit tired. Some people say they're using the labeling in daily life, and it starts to impact them that they can't have a normal conversation or things. So then it's a sign like, okay, in that situation, maybe use less power of awareness and prioritize more the conversation because it's important to you. But then other times you can again increase.
Sorry, can I ask something about that, the last question?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something that I found actually interesting from Vipassana. That maybe at the beginning you have that situation that it's in a still mind maybe acts more smooth, more clear. So I kind of sometimes have this insight that when I see the sequence of many things, and while doing meditation in Vipassana, I start realizing that well, thoughts there is somehow they pop up. Uh, Sometimes it's also interesting to start, or I say curious because I see how the thoughts they start coming up. So start playing with patterns, but being aware of that, like, oh, I saw while walking, I saw the hat of my grandpa. And now my grandpa, I remember of this, and then this creates an emotion, and this emotion turns into something that is even more. So
Yeah.
being aware also of that sequence
Yeah.
of it's something that I found I never did that before Vipassana and before this course, but then sometimes I feel like but hold on, maybe I already made this question like there is a moment when you start becoming the detective, like oh there is happening this, and you start thinking once again. So it's like
Right.
meditation, or am I just thinking overthinking? So
Yeah.
but then once again the awakening moment, like oh, so is that normal as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, all this is normal. What you're describing there about seeing the cause and effect in the thoughts and the body and mind is the second stage, mind, body, cause and effect. And yeah, you start to see, as you start to see clearly more body and mind, you start to see how they are just constantly interacting. And oh yeah, you see the hat, and then it creates the recognition and it creates the thought, and boom, 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 and you learn how it works. But yeah, of course, if you start thinking about it, then you drop back down, and it becomes. But then you again realizing, and it will keep happening. This moment of realizing, and it's about how quickly and consistently we can just recognize and not believe so much our thinking. And you can also start to see when you see that all thoughts are empty, but we also start to see what thoughts are more useful than others. Some thoughts are completely useless. Some thoughts are useful, and some things are useful to think about and analyze and question. And
With this, I actually may wondering to know because many times, and particularly while doing guided meditation or like you present many comments or many insights while doing the meditation, but some of them are also like, oh, I can get the picture that those insights they came also with this process of understanding of meditation. So it's wisdom that is spread from one word to another. There was an example you made once with the don't wait for the bell. The bell will come on its time. So try not to rush to that moment. Try not to. So I was listening to those words and I was like, oh, this is pretty deep because, well, I mean, I was having in that moment, or sometimes many years, the reason why I started meditation was because I was having some thoughts about death. So Bell can also be a little bit in that direction. So then I start thinking this is a pretty beautiful insight. So time will just come, but then those are the kind of insights that I would like to see. Like, oh, maybe is it possible through meditation to reach that kind of useful conclusions? Like to see, like, well, I am here now. I'm not dead. I am pretty alive. I'm happy for being in this situation and so on and so forth. So kind of more meta or many other techniques that are around the Vipassana.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything I say in the meditations is I learned through meditation. Of course, some things are from like I organize my thoughts sometimes around some principles of other teachers which I look up to and learn. But the way I say things in the meditation is really just how many times I had to make that mistake of the holding on for the waiting for the bell to come and until I realized, oh, and of course have to realize it many times that, oh, I'm waiting for the bell. Uh, but you learn it, and you don't need to try and create those insights or something. It's through the awareness and of course through a little bit um, engaging with some experienced teachers or something where they will kind of keep you on track, and then it's yeah, you learn through your own experience basically. And we all have our own unique things that we need to that bother us that we need to learn, and also some things which are very common amongst all humans. And some people say like, oh, like you can read minds, you always say the right thing in the right moment during the meditation. But actually, it's because we are not so dissimilar. A lot of people struggle with the same stuff.
Yeah, thanks for the answer. Right.
Okay. Is there any last comments, questions?
Maybe if it's the last Q&A question, is more in terms of future. I mean, I feel while we finish the course, we're going to like finish the audios, and somehow I feel you also share that we are now controlling our meditation. So that's kind of the invitation that I feel in the last sessions, mm, to be more like on control of our own meditation. But then I was also wondering how good or bad practice it is many times to keep like having the support of a person who has more experience first, and second, like to join group meditations, because many times you were talking like, well, there is many people practicing now, and it will be nice also to share some of insights and some experience. How do you recommend this to be more like a personal process? Also, like jumping sometimes to have some guidance and
Yes.
to be more in
Yes.
group.
Yes.
Mm.
All of the above helps. All of the above. To have the sangha, the community of practices where you can exchange, talk with. There's many online forums. There's in-person groups, maybe around you that you can search meditation group or Vipassana group. There's always practitioners around. Of course, some are high quality than others. There's always useful to talk to people who are experienced to get thoughts. There's useful to read books about it, because reading books is like, I mean, it's one way, but it's kind of talking to about someone who has a lot of experience and hearing their ideas and how they see it, and helps you to organize your own practice. But also not to over rely on all those things, and still let it be something personal and inner, and yeah, but it's balancing all of those factors. But yeah, however you can, it's mainly about staying motivated to do it and staying curious, and whatever helps with that, then it's, and also the more time you have doing it, then less external support you need. Like for me now, it's so clear that it's so helpful and so beneficial, and I don't need much motivation to sit down every day. It's just like brushing teeth or something like. And if I don't brush my teeth, my breath will start to stink. Noticing sometimes labeling a thought, had already moved to the next moment label automatically without being too mindful. So I was blaming previous moment instead of the current moment. Do you have any suggestions for that? Yeah, it's better than nothing. So in the beginning, it's it's just labeling, and usually it's always a little bit late. But then also to notice that when you are using more automatic labels and you're not really being mindful of the moment, like you just say right goes touch as automatic thing rather than really feeling the sensation of right foot going touch, is a difference from repeating it like a phrase, right goes touch, left goes touch. It's a mantra. It becomes a mantra meditation actually, um, versus using the labels to observe the reality.
I I had one more question. Just as a, kind of moving forward with our own practice, building on the last question and what you said. So, in terms of continuing, because before this course, I was doing mostly like from the Headspace app, which is more like I don't know if it's samatha meditation, but focusing on the breath essentially, which is different to Vipassana, I guess. And if we want to continue, but say, for example, 2 hours every day might not be feasible, and we want to try to do an hour or half an hour, would it make sense? Like, is there a specific model for thinking of this? So say I want to do half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. Does it make sense to use the same model of 15 minutes walking meditation, 15 minutes sitting meditation, or is that too short? Does it make sense to just do a walking meditation in the morning and then just do a sitting meditation in the evening? Or, are there any recommendations or kind of suggestions on how to go about doing that?
Yeah. Firstly, it's really up to you to be curious and to observe the impact when you do it that way, when you do it this way, and to be honest to it, honestly have a look at that. Then to say that for me, if the meditation is shorter, like 15 minutes or something, the whole time, then I just usually sit. But if I have like at least like 30 minutes or something, then I will do half walking, half sitting. And anything longer than that, I always do half because the walking practice is so, I find it very valuable. Yeah, so this is the general. And in general, I would recommend like at least half an hour a day. I was saying it a bit earlier. At least half an hour a day is a good minimum to maintain, and an hour is great if you can an hour, if you have consistently an hour per day, this is really like you will make progress, you will learn a lot. If you just do like 5-10 minutes, it's more like a little bit coming down exercise than getting any insight. And one thing that's really useful is once in a while to have some more intensive periods, like to go on a residential retreat if you can, to go on a 10-day retreat, to just really taste what it's like to go deeper, to not talk, you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn much better how to apply the technique and how to do it. Yeah, once a year. if it's available. Okay, let us conclude it there. Thank you so much, all of you, for your trust, for your attention, for your practice. Yeah, it's nice. It's so nice for me to share it, to see impact, to have you guys show up, to ask amazing questions. I also learned from them. Yeah, thank you so much all for joining.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and to everyone.
Thank you
else.
so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye.